may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar.
All right, we'll get more of your calls coming up about a proposed gun control bill and the difference between the House bill and the Senate bill, and where do you stand? Should there be any such legislation defining assault weapons, or should they instead focus on shoring up, say, the Illinois State Police to make sure that they go after those who have clear and present danger reports against them, as was in the case of the suspect of the Highland Park shooting or other instances. So we'll get more of your calls coming up at 217-629-7970. A lot of action in lame duck session. We'll get to your thoughts coming up here next on WMAY. It's now 8:04 with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. In sports, even though the Chicago Bears lost again on Sunday, there's a silver lining in the clouds of a 3-14 season. The Bears will have the overall number 1 pick in the NFL draft for the first time since 1947. The Bears got some help from their former coach as Lovie Smith's Houston Texans got a win on Sunday, which dropped the Texans to number 2 in the draft and cleared the top spot for the Bears. Firefighters were called to a home on White Birch Drive Saturday morning for a report of a garage fire. By the time crews arrived, flames from the attached garage had gotten into the attic of the home. Firefighters used salvage covers to protect belongings in the home while they worked to put out the fire, but there was extensive damage. No one was hurt, but a dog was killed in the blaze. The Red Cross is assisting one person who was displaced by the fire, and the cause is under investigation. A holiday DUI detail by Sangamon County Sheriff's deputies resulted in more than 50 citations, although none for actual drunk driving. The Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign ran from December 16th through January 2nd. The high-profile detail may have served as a deterrent for driving under the influence, as it resulted in 31 speeding tickets, 16 seatbelt violations, 3 car seat violations, 2 citations for distracted driving, and 3 tickets for driving on a suspended license. In addition, 3 people were arrested on outstanding warrants during the traffic initiative. Sangamon County and state officials are in a dispute over the transfer of mentally ill county jail inmates to state psychiatric facilities. Pending legislation would extend the time given to the state to identify placements for those inmates from 20 days to 60 days or longer. Sheriff Jack Campbell says that would create even more problems for jail inmates and staff. Governor Pritzker's office says the state has been working to add more psychiatric beds, but with mental health referrals at an all-time high, everyone has to work together to find solutions to the problem. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere you need to travel on United Airlines. From your next business trip to your next family vacation, United Airlines can get you there from the Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next United Airlines flight from SPI at united.com.
SPI, take the easy way out. If you want to bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you'll remember. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 46. Cloudy tonight with a low of 35. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 46. Low around 37. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 52. Rain arriving Wednesday night and a low of 34. Thursday, rain likely with a high near 40. Friday, mostly cloudy with a high near 35. And Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 38. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville. Online at blhcomputers.com.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in-network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Well, Mickey and I are retiring and closing the store, and these are the final days. The remaining inventory is priced up to as low as 17 cents on the dollar. Everything's got to go. Many people have asked where they should go for their service needs. Well, most of the remaining jewelry stores in Springfield have goldsmith shops and are capable of cleaning and checking your fine jewelry. It's been a great run, and we thank you so much. We are locking the doors on Saturday the 14th at 3 o'clock.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, back taking your phone calls at 217-629-7970 about the latest movement in gun control legislation at the Illinois State House for lame duck session. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and the phone number 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com or find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube's a good place because, well, that's where you can watch us live as we talk with newsmakers, review what happens in these various committees or on the Senate or House floor. Outside of hosting this morning show weekday mornings, I cover the State House for the Center Square and also Illinois Radio Network. But let's go ahead and get to it because we do have the latest iteration that's been filed this morning. And that is the measure to prohibit certain types of guns. And again, call in 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. But even as we were on air this morning, I looked at the Senate bill that was filed here, and it's actually a Senate amendment to House Bill 5471, and it's going to be heard this morning in a Senate Executive Committee. And looks like the witness slips so far this morning, 5,174 oppose, with 40 who support. Now it's up to 6,100 who oppose and 50 who support. So refreshing that, but I did look at the bill number, and it has another amendment that was filed this morning, and looking at what kind of changes there are compared to the previous amendment that was filed yesterday afternoon by the Senate. So we're getting your reaction to all of this and more. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hello, this is David from Chicago. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, David, thanks for tuning in all the way from Chicago. Your thoughts on this?
So I think what's imperative here is that there is a grandfathering of the magazines. What needs to be emphasized is that by limiting the capacity to 12 rounds, or you need to surrender them to the police or take them out of state, you're effectively criminalizing 1.5 to 2 million residents across Illinois. Because as some of you have mentioned in some of your previous phone callers, these handguns come standard with 15 rounds for the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
So that is a huge issue with the lack of grandfathering in the House bill.
Yeah, in the House bill, it changed from no more than 10 rounds to then no more than 12 rounds, which would have still impacted a lot of those handguns that, the 2-point-some-odd million FOID card holders in the state of Illinois that go through the hoops to get that firearm owner identification card, which, by the way, led to a lot of people questioning whether their rights were being upheld during the pandemic when there was up to a year delay getting those FOID card renewals, if you guys remember all of that, and also the legal challenges against the firearm owner ID card in Illinois. There's a couple of different challenges there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually one of the plaintiffs in the delays for the concealed carry licensing, and it took my wife and several of my cousins close to a year to get their FOID cards, even though legally, according to state law, it's supposed to take only a month. So there's huge issues.
Big issue.
Even with the registration, I think, I can't remember which House representative brought this up, but with the registration, the issue is, okay, if you don't register within 300 days, suddenly you're a felon. But if with ISP being so backed up, who's to say that they would even process all the registration within 300 days, and then suddenly you're wondering whether or not you're a felon just because of plumbing issues over at ISP?
Yeah, that's a great point, and something that the ISP's already shown that I don't know if it's a lack of resources or what, but with the FOID card delays, with the concealed carry card delays, with the dropping of the ball of that clear and present danger report for the Highland Park shooting suspect, and also not going after the Aurora mass shooter suspect who had a felony in a different state, that when he applied for a concealed carry license, that's when they found it, and they never went and confiscated his guns or had him surrender his FOID card. So yeah, there's all of these other factors that are out there that should be maybe looked at, but instead it seems that lawmakers are more focused on defining certain common guns as assault weapons, and then possibly making people violate their Fifth Amendment rights of not having to self-incriminate by filing with state police that you have a, quote, assault weapon. So there's a lot of questions about this, and I think that's why a lot of the Second Amendment supporters are queuing up lawsuits. They're ready to go to court over all of this and not negotiating whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, the Firearm Policy Coalition, Second Amendment Foundation, of course, the Illinois State Rifle Association, they all have lawsuits just sitting in the refrigerator waiting to put them out before Pritzker even puts down his pen. So I think the thing to emphasize here is no matter what passes out of the Senate and the House, we're going to challenge it. What is, I think, important, however, given some of the other cases that we've seen around the country, is that while we're challenging it, we don't risk becoming felons within 90 days if we don't surrender our magazines to police.
And that's what the House bill says. Yeah, the House bill says within 90 days you have to either surrender them, throw them away, give them to somebody out of state, or modify them, which... Listen, I'm not a huge gun and expert or anything, but how in the world do you go about modifying a 30-round magazine for an AR-15, which people who have an AR-15 likely have at least one, if not 2, 3, or 4 30-round magazines for their AR-15s? How do you do that? I don't even know.
You can't. I mean, so what? I mean, it's clear these legislators don't understand how the magazines work, but I mean, I guess you can put in a base plate, but again, what the law says is that you need to permanently alter these magazines. There's no way to permanently get rid of space in them. They're just cylinders or big rectangles. Right. So you change out the base plate, but you can still just get rid of the base plate, and then you have a magazine that can hold 30, 40, 100, whatever it is. Yeah. There's no way to permanently change the magazines.
Well, David from Chicago, I appreciate you calling in. What do you think's going to happen here? Do you think that the Senate's going to pass what the governor says is a watered-down version, and then the House is going to not want to take that up, and it's going to be deadlock until the end of this legislative session when they have to throw everything out and start over from scratch on Wednesday?
So reading the tea leaves here from what I'm hearing out of the Senate and the governor's office and Welch's office is it seems like the big holdup isn't necessarily the grandfathering of the magazines at this point, but what everybody seems to be referencing is that the assault weapon ban, quote unquote, doesn't have teeth because it lacks the registration of serial numbers of existing guns. So where I'd be putting my money now is that the House will give some way in regards to the magazines. However, they'll probably dig in their heels in regards to the registration of existing quote-unquote assault weapons across the state. That would be where I think it's the rubber meets the road.
Well, we're going to watch it closely. David, I appreciate the call from Chicago here with Springfield's Morning News. And again, the latest iteration of the Senate's proposal filed this morning. They have a Senate Executive Committee at 9 o'clock this morning. Then it's inauguration of the governor and other statewide executive officers like Comptroller, Treasurer, Secretary of State, and Attorney General. And then the Senate's going to go back into session today. It was not scheduled that they would be in, but they went ahead and scheduled that for today at 1:30. They'll go into session. It could take up the gun bill. They could take up a bill about abortion, so it might be a long day for the Senate. And then Tuesday is the final day of the House and Senate for the 102nd General Assembly, and they could go all the way up until the hour before January 11th when the new General Assembly is seated, the 103rd General Assembly is seated. So it's going to be a really kind of high-flying, jam-packed adventure, and I'll be covering it all, and we'll be talking about it all week long here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Appreciate everybody chiming in on this. Got to take a break. It is Springfield's Morning News. Let's take a look at that dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of around 46 degrees. That's after we had some snow on the ground yesterday morning when I woke up. Wasn't expecting that. It was gorgeous, but then by mid-afternoon into the evening, it was all melted. The high of 46 today, the low of 35 with mostly sunny skies, and then mostly sunny Tuesday with a high of 46. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a high of 52. Thursday, a chance of rain and snow with a high of 40. And Friday, partly sunny with a high of 35. Right now, it's about 25 degrees. The sun's out with Springfield's Morning News at 8:19 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hello, Lauterbach Man here. People often come by and they say to me, Lauterbach Man, how do you manage to stay outside all winter? But because they're so short, it just sounds like... But I get the gist. It's cold out, and how can a fella like me endure the cold? Because at Lauterbach Tire, we understand staying outside in the cold. Your car does it every single winter. Oh yes, it challenges the batteries and belts and important fluids, but does it ever break down? No, because you brought your car to my top team of automotive technicians. Winter is tough on us all, but it doesn't have to be tough on your car. We'll make sure it's happy to start up in the morning. Oh, somebody else down there is asking me something. How zebras, tomato soup, hamper, shoelace? I can't understand you. No, it's because you're short. Sorry. Lauterbach Man at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. We fix cars so you can drive safely now.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
And today's daily poll is a yes or no with the question, will Kevin McCarthy serve the full 2-year term as U.S. House Speaker? Yes or no? And 80% of you this morning say yes, he will. So go vote at WMAY.com or on the WMAY mobile app. It's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back at it, and it's going to be a busy day today. You've got, of course, the Senate's coming back this afternoon, but that's after inauguration of Governor J.B. Pritzker, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton getting a second term, another term for Comptroller Shoshana Mendoza, Treasurer Michael Frericks, Attorney General Kwame Raoul, and then also you've got Alexi Giannoulias being sworn in as the new Secretary of State. And that's all going to be happening at 11:30 today at the Bank of Springfield Center in Springfield. And then you've got the Senate coming back into session at 1:30 this afternoon. But this morning, in about half an hour, the Senate Executive Committee is going to be taking up a couple of different controversial bills. So it'll be interesting to see if they start on time, first off. And then second off, are they able to finish up in time to get to the inauguration of the constitutional officers at the Bank of Springfield Center. And then after that, they're going to run back over to the Senate. So the Senate's back in this afternoon. And then the House and Senate are scheduled to come back tomorrow for the final day of legislative session. So a lot's going to be happening today. But also you've got the issue of the new legislature and what's going to happen there. And the unanswered questions about the no cash bail provision of the Safety Act. And you got Republican leader Tony McCombie, who's sounding off on this, saying that she's hoping to find some Democrats who want to make some changes to the Safety Act because you've got that court case that the Supreme Court's going to hear, and that's going to be scheduled for March, but they've got briefs they're going to file throughout later this month and into February, and then the Illinois Supreme Court's going to take up that case to hear about the Kankakee County judge that said that the no cash bail provision is unconstitutional, violates the Victims' Rights Amendment, but also separation of powers. And when it deals with specifically surety as bond for judges to say you can get out if you provide some surety, which traditionally has been some kind of monetary amount. So the Kankakee County judge making that declaration just before the New Year's Eve holiday, and then the Illinois Supreme Court coming in and putting a stay on the implementation of the Safety Act. So that's still very much something that's going to be debated. And you've got incoming House Minority Leader Tony McCombie talking with one of my colleagues, Kevin Bessler, about what she's hoping to do with Democrats who are looking to possibly make some changes to the Safety Act. Here she is talking about that. And go. I got to refresh. Gotta love it when you leave something there too long and then all of a sudden you have to refresh it. So here's State Representative Tony McCombie.
Definitely the PFA, the no cash bail, in my opinion, there's nothing to negotiate there. That's in the Constitution, and that is what it is.
And she goes on to say that there needs to be some compromise.
It really puts victims at a disadvantage to force victims to be compelled, by the defendant to testify at a bail hearing is absolutely inappropriate, and that is a big piece of it.
But other measures in the Safety Act in effect, including the requirement that police across the state start implementing some kind of body camera technology. I think they have to show receipts that they're lining those up, and then at a certain time set that they have to actually have them in place. I don't have that time in front of me, but still the Safety Act is a very much a contentious piece of legislation, especially the no cash bail provision, and that's something that's going to be debated in the Illinois Supreme Court in the months ahead. So we'll be watching all of that closely. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up, including a conversation with Ted Dabrowski from WirePoints. And in particular, what does he have to say about the lawmaker pay raises? Plus, we'll wrap things up with more of your calls, and maybe we talk about Bitcoin. I don't know if we got time. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up here with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY. Now, 8:30. Let's get a headline check.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard, our top story. With a Monday strike deadline looming, contract negotiations are continuing between two large New York City hospitals and more than 7,000 members of the nurses union. Two other hospitals in the city reached a tentative agreement with the union on Sunday. New York State Nurses Association President Nancy Hagans says staffing levels are the primary issue. The nurses say in the absence of an agreement, they are prepared to walk out at 6 o'clock this morning. The hospitals have taken steps to prepare for a strike through patient transfers and directing ambulances elsewhere. According to Mayor Jim Langfelder, the owner of the Wyndham City Center in downtown Springfield is still hoping to convert some of the hotel units to apartments and to attract a new major brand for the remaining hotel operation. Under the hotel's current zoning, the Wyndham's owner could convert half of its 400 units to apartments. Langfelder says the owner is hoping to sign with Marriott, which would alleviate the city's concerns about maintaining adequate hotel capacity downtown. The mayor says more details on the Wyndham's status could come out in a couple of weeks. In sports, even though the Chicago Bears lost again on Sunday, there's a silver lining in the clouds of a 3-14 season. The Bears will have the overall number one pick in the NFL draft for the first time since 1947. The Bears got some help from their former coach as Lovie Smith's Houston Texans got a win on Sunday, which dropped the Texans to number 2 in the draft and cleared the top spot for the Bears. It looks like free metered parking in downtown Springfield may continue for a while longer. The city is awaiting recommendations from a consultant who is looking at issues related to the medical district, including parking. That report, which will go to the city council this month, could recommend use of smart meters that would accept debit or credit card payments and can help people find available spaces through an app. Mayor Jim Langfelter says any move in that direction could be implemented as a pilot program on a limited basis at first. Congresswoman Mary Miller says the recent fight over Kevin McCarthy's election as House Speaker resulted in an historic victory for conservatives. Miller says she and 19 other holdouts engineered rules changes that will give conservatives the power to make direct budget cuts, cap spending, and end COVID mandates and funding for them. The deal will also lead to the creation of a committee to address the so-called weaponization of the federal government, which may involve looking into ongoing criminal investigations with the Department of Justice. Sangamon County and state officials are in a dispute over the transfer of mentally ill county jail inmates to state psychiatric facilities. Pending legislation would extend the time given to the state to identify placements for those inmates from 20 days to 60 days or longer. Sheriff Jack Campbell says that would create even more problems for jail inmates and staff. Governor Pritzker's office says the state has been working to add more psychiatric beds, but with mental health referrals at an all-time high, everyone has to work together to find solutions to the problem. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
When winter weather presents traveling challenges, SMTD is a convenient commuting alternative. The reliable SMTD fleet is warmed up and ready to go. No more early morning shoveling or scraping. You're just steps away from a stop. Check smtd.org for routes and schedules, then board an affordable, clean, climate-controlled SMTD bus. It'll take you to work, school, doctor's appointments, and beyond. Avoid driving and parking hassles and arrive on schedule with less stress. SMTD, your convenient commuting alternative. SMTD, moving together.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 46. Cloudy tonight with a low of 35. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 46, low around 37. Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 52. Rain arriving Wednesday night and a low of 34. Thursday, rain likely with a high near 40. Friday, mostly cloudy with a high near 35. And Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 38. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville. Online at blhcomputers.com.
You have a choice when it comes to where you bank, and you should consider INB. INB was founded in 1999 to bring community back to the local banking market. INB is steeped in Springfield history and committed to making banking easy through technology, whether working with individuals, businesses, or government agencies. Check out INB at INB.com. See what community banking is all about by stopping by any of 8 Sangamon County locations. INB, member FDIC.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield. Where do you go when you want to get in shape? The Body Quest store. The Body Quest store. High quality exercise equipment for your home. The Body Quest store. The Body Quest store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest store. The Body Quest store. 3120 Montvale Drive. The Body Quest store. The Body Quest store. 787-9930. The Body Quest store. The Body Quest store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Menards is your complete bathroom renovation headquarters. Lyons has what you need to give your bathroom a fresh, updated look. Shop the largest selection of bathtubs and showers, including over 200 showers, bathtubs, and surrounds, which are a great way to start your remodel. You're sure to find the perfect one to fit your style and budget. Start your next project today and save big money on all Lyons bath and shower products at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's the 23rd annual Coors Light Frozen Open coming Saturday, January 14th. It's the Lake Club's golf tournament for charity. Register at any one of the participating Lake Clubs. Tee-off begins at 10:30 at the club where you register. Cost is $50 per foursome or $12.50 per person. Food is available at most clubs along with $2.50 Coors Light. And the good times continue at the Prop Club after party starting at 5:30, featuring door prizes and music from Drew Aschenbrenner. It's the 23rd annual Coors Light Frozen Open coming Saturday, January 14th from your friends at Coors Light.
You're excited about a new dating app match. The convos are fantastic, and he or she looks so cute in the photos. But your potential love just asked an uncomfortable question. Can you Venmo some cash? Unfortunately, it's probably a scammer trying to get in your wallet. I'm Kim Commando with a Google trick that will save you from the hassle of online romance fraudsters. These kinds of criminals aren't that thoughtful. That hot lady or fellow uses the same pics and love letters to suck in other potential takers. Luckily, there's an easy way to see if they are true. Take a screenshot of their dating profile and upload it into the Google reverse image search. You can do this on your computer or on your phone. See where else his or her picture appears. One gal found her Mr. Right was on the FBI's most wanted list. But what if you get no results? Take a screenshot of what they wrote to you. Google image search analyzes text too, so if similar messages are sent out, they'll be flagged also in an image. Enter to win a $500 gift card at commando.com/win. What do you do when something just doesn't work? You Google it. Too often, that's a complete waste of time. You need someone to hold your hand. Maybe you're lucky enough to have someone to call for help or come over, but let's face it, they're too busy for you. Finding tech support online is risky. That's why I partner with top tech experts to give you 24/7 live support that you can trust. They'll fix your problems or there's no charge. I'm so proud to tell you about GetKim'sHelp.com. Whether it's a problem with your Wi-Fi, printer, smartphone, computer, TV, smart speaker, or another connected device, the experts at GetKim'sHelp.com fix most issues in 10 minutes or less. High-tech troubleshooting tools like virtual house calls let them resolve even the most complex issues quickly. So stop Googling. Have your problem solved right now. Visit GetKim'sHelp.com. It's an affordable way to fix problems with the help from experts who you can trust. GetKim'sHelp.com.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
So a lot of activity at the Illinois State House for lame duck session, and we're bringing you all of the latest. We'll be focusing on this for the rest of the week, really, and a lot of cleanup that's going to be needed with all kinds of bills being passed. But one bill that passed late Friday in the Illinois House dealt with $1.7+ billion of supplemental spending, $800+ million for the rainy day fund, $460 million for hospitals, $400 million for a fund the governor can control to, quote, attract large businesses to Illinois, and so much more. But the measure also increases the pay for not just state executive staff, but also for the governor, lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the treasurer, the comptroller, but also increases the pay for state legislators like state representatives and state senators from around $76,000 to $85,000 or so. Either way, it's a $12,000 jump that they're looking to give themselves, and we heard a lot about this earlier this morning. But here is State Senator L.G. Sims defending the pay raise for legislators.
It makes sure that we invest in making sure that not everyone who is a millionaire or a billionaire or wealthy can afford to serve.
But you had State Rep Senator Darren Bailey. He sounded off on this, not happy about the idea of increased pay for lawmakers.
Teachers, truck drivers, waitresses. Go out to the security guards right now who are protecting us and tell them that you're worth $85,000 and ask them what way they think. Please do that.
What do you think? Are they worth $85,000 for what some consider a part-time job to be a state legislator? And that's just the base pay. So the House and Senate approving this. It's now up to the governor. What do you think? Turning now to WirePoint's president, Ted Dabrowski, to talk about legislator pay, but also to talk about this $1.7 billion spending bill. What's in it and how's it impacting taxpayers? Ted, thanks for taking time with us this morning. Oh, Ted, I apologize. I had the wrong channel turned up. Go ahead. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Greg. Thanks for having me on.
Good to hear. All right, you're coming through. So yeah, $1.7+ billion. At least that's what I was able to just add up. It's $800 million for the rainy day fund, $460 million for hospitals, $400 million for a new fund to attract businesses. What's going on here with all this spending?
Well, the states, not just Illinois, but states across the country. We can talk about that more in a bit, but states across the country are just swimming in cash from all the federal bailout money that's come through. The sales tax revenues are still really high. Inflation, of course, has pushed that higher. So they're swimming in money and they're going to spend it. And I think the most egregious one, of course, is the one you mentioned, which is they're raising their pay $12,000 each. That's massive just by itself. To the I think should be the fourth highest legislative pay in the country, and they don't deserve it. Two, the results of Illinois show that they should be getting pay cuts, if not worse. So I think it's a big slap in the face of Illinois, who are struggling under some of the worst job conditions in the country.
We also have metrics like outbound migration showing that there's fewer people in Illinois. Should that be an indication of whether state lawmakers are doing a good job? I mean, I don't know about you, but I get evaluated every year to see if I'm growing eyes and ears on our work. I get evaluated every year for the story load that I do and so on. What kind of evaluation would you give state lawmakers?
Well, yeah, in the real world, you get evaluated on your sales targets. Are you doing a good job? Are you, bringing in more customers, whatever it would be? Here, let's look at it. Credit rating, worst in the nation. Out-migration, second worst in the nation on a percentage basis. Property taxes, first or second highest in the nation. Nothing done about that. Pension debt, highest in the nation. Nothing done about that. Gas taxes doubled. I could go on and on. Crime, let's talk about crime. The results are pathetic. Everybody should be fired, literally. We would need a new legislature to replace this, and instead, because they control the purse string, they give themselves raises on that. It's fascinating, and this would never happen in the real world, but this is Illinois right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the overall spending plan, because it is more than $1.7 billion of supplemental appropriation of taxpayer resources. We're going to put $800 million into the rainy day fund. That's not bad.
No, I think that's one of the few good things I've heard. We've suffered in going into COVID because we had we almost had zero COVID, rainy day funds. So that's not a bad move. And it's probably a smart move politically, because you can't spend all that money and then not show something that's good for the credit agencies to say, oh, look what we did. So I'm a little skeptical on why they do it, but it's the right thing to do. The bigger thing is really the $400 million that they've created a slush fund for Governor Pritzker to try to attract some big business, like electric vehicles, for example. We reported how Illinois is just, second wind. They cannot attract any new EV investment. It's all going to right-to-work states in other parts of the country. And so maybe this $400 million is being given to him so that he can buy his way into getting somebody to come here.
WirePoint's president Ted Dabrowski with us on WMAY. So that $400 million going into that fund for the governor to try to attract these businesses. Do you know how that money is going to be used? I mean, is it just going to be like tax credits, or is it going to be payouts or help for building facilities or modifying facilities? Yeah. How is this money going to be used exactly?
Yeah, I'm not clear on exactly how it'll be used, but typically, it can either be tax incentives, different ways of lowering the bill for some company to do something in Illinois. What's scary about it, from what I understand now, is that this is given to the governor and his development arm. It's outside of the legislature now. They'll use it to try to convince somebody to operate here. And the way it should be done, instead of getting $400 million to a few particular companies, if Governor Pritzker has that money, he should be lowering taxes on all companies, making it easier for every company here in Illinois to thrive and survive. rather than, effectively to give $400 million to a couple companies, we've had to raise taxes on everybody else. And it's a really unfair way, and we shouldn't give the governor power to pick winners and losers like that, because the government nor the governor are good at that, or should they be doing that.
Governor J.B. Pritzker is going to take the oath of office in a second term for inauguration happening today. I imagine he's already put this messaging out during the campaign for his reelection, but also on Twitter he's putting out about how he's helped balance the budget during his first term. But Pew Charitable Trusts, Ted, recently showed that over 15 years, and I think the numbers they had were just up to fiscal year 2020, but either way, 15 years or so worth of the state overspending tax dollars. Does that indicate a balanced budget?
No, nothing this governor, nothing that Rauner, nothing that Blago and those before him can say about balanced budgets. This is something that's a deep flaw in Illinois, and Governor Pritzker is doing the same thing. They claim they have balanced budgets, but there's a big hole in the budget every single year just on pensions alone, on retiree health care. They say they balance the budget because they get to say they did. But the truth is, when you look at it in any accounting terms, it's always $3 to $4 to $5 billion under budget, and which is why we always have more and more debt the taxpayers are on the hook for. And Pritzker in particular was saved by COVID, by the COVID bailouts. He's done nothing, and the legislature has done nothing to improve our pension problem, our budget problems. The only thing they've done is taken billions and billions of COVID money that's come in through it's raised income tax receipts, sales tax receipts. So there's a big windfall for the governor, and he gets to act like he's fixed something in Illinois when in fact it's not true at all.
WirePoint's President Ted Dabrowski, tell us where people can find your and your team's research and articles you put out.
Well, we're wirepoints.org, and we have a daily newsletter that we'll gladly send out to you for free. We curate the news and also give you our originals, and you can also find us in social at WirePoints. And thanks for letting us talk about these problems.
Well, we'll definitely talk about it in the future, no question. Ted Dabrowski, President of WirePoints, greatly appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, Craig.
It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And we got one segment left. Maybe talk about Bitcoin, maybe talk about inflation, or maybe just do a catch-all of everything that's happened in the past 48, 72 hours or so. So stay tuned. One segment left here with Springfield's Morning News this Monday morning before another busy day at the State House and beyond. All right, let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of 46 degrees after some snow on the ground yesterday. Waking up to that was gorgeous. I'm sad that it didn't stick around, but the high up to around 46 with the low down to 35. We'll see some sunshine early, but then some clouds tonight. Mostly sunny Tuesday with a high of 46. Wednesday mostly cloudy with a high of 52. And then Thursday a chance of rain or snow with a high of 40, and Friday partly sunny with a high of 35. Right now it's about 30 degrees or so, 8:49 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Rex with a double X battery, generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery, generations of power.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo mattress clearance sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you'd better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Paid for by U.S. Telecom. Closing the nation's digital divide is more important than ever. Broadband internet opens doors to education, jobs, and healthcare. America's broadband providers are making historic levels of investment, including $86 billion in 2021 alone, to bridge the divide. But millions of Americans, many in rural areas, still lack access to high-speed internet. New federal infrastructure investment will provide more than $42 billion to expand the nation's broadband connectivity. U.S. Telecom President and CEO Jonathan Spalter.
Broadband providers exist to connect communities to opportunity. We did this first through telephone lines and now high-speed internet. Working alongside our company's own investments, these once-in-a-generation federal funds can help achieve our shared goal of high-speed internet for all. State and local officials can lead by ensuring these funds are used wisely, by partnering with companies that have proven experience connecting our communities.
To learn more, visit ustelecom.org.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, back at it. Final segment here in just a few minutes. Your chance to sound off, 217-629-7970, and lots going to happen today. We've got inauguration at the Bank of Springfield Center with Governor J.B. Pritzker getting a second term. Also, Alexi Janulius going to get the Secretary of State seat, inauguration there, replacing the longtime Secretary of State, Jesse White, who is retiring. And you've also got the Comptroller, Treasurer, and Attorney General who are getting another term at the inauguration that's going to be today. And then you've got action at the State House with the Senate in session this afternoon. That's after a morning committee hearing that's set to start here in about 4 minutes. We'll see if they actually start on time. But what they're going to be focusing on is a proposal at the Senate to regulate the possession of guns. And we've been looking at the witness slips here. heading into this hearing that's supposed to start here in just a handful of minutes. And I'm going to refresh the page because earlier it was at 6,000 opposing. Now it's at nearly 7,000 opposing a proposed gun ban and only about 58 supporting that. But some of those numbers could be skewed a bit because it's not just the gun bill. They could also be looking at other bills, including bills dealing with abortion. So the witness slip's starting to stack up for that hearing that begins here in just a handful of minutes. So interesting high-flying action going to be happening, of course, over the weekend. We've reviewed a lot of it this morning. If you've missed any of it, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bishop on Air, where you can see some of these conversations and a lot of the debate that's being had within committees and on the floor of either the House or the Senate. But we talked about a lot of about the lawmaker pay raises that they approved in both chambers late Friday night and then late last night in each chamber, approving that and giving lawmakers $12,000 pay increases. We also talked about a measure that would mandate sex ed for K through 12, and that measure passed a Senate committee. Will it be brought up in the Senate and then ultimately kicked over to the House? We'll watch that. A measure dealing with mail-in voting, and should the clerk or the local election official do some kind of sign-off on comparing a signature to the mail-in application, or should they compare the mail-in ballot signature to the actual voter file that has that signature on it? So that measure was also approved. But you've got other things happening as well, including a bill which deals with plumbers and lawn sprinklers, and how if you have a lawn sprinkling system, you have to get a licensed plumber to inspect that. And what about the licensed landscape architects? Are they not capable of doing that? So, these types of bills, just smattering in all of what the legislature's looking to approve in the final days of legislative session. So again, stay with us. Of course, we'll have live coverage of inauguration today at 11:30 on WMAY. You'll also have continued coverage tomorrow morning with me. I'll be breaking down all of the action that happens on the gun bill. We'll be reviewing what the governor had to say during his inauguration and what other statewide constitutional officers had to say at their inauguration. And then whatever happens in the Illinois Senate this afternoon. Let's see if it's going to be a long night. I don't know. I was prepared yesterday to stay up all night last night. Took a nap in the middle of the day just to prepare for it so I could monitor what happened in the Senate. Thankfully, they didn't go late. They only went out until about 8 o'clock. It's not too late, but hey, my bedtime's typically 7:30, so I had to get that nap in to be able to get ready to cover the Senate. And I was waiting for them to go all night. But they didn't. They decided not to call those controversial gun and abortion bills, and instead decided to deal with the pay raises for lawmakers. And then they adjourned. They said, okay, we're done for the day. Let's be back here for executive committee at 9 o'clock. That's in just about 30 seconds from now. And then they went ahead and moved forward to be back in session for this afternoon after inauguration. So a lot's going to happen today. Have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll be back at it. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Best places are either YouTube or Twitter, where you can watch us live 6 to 9 or follow along throughout the day at twitter.com/BishopOnAir. It's now 9 o'clock.